understand why someone's like, well, I don't want to know that God because that God did this and that. It's not about literally. It's about having a spiritual understanding of what God is trying to share with you, and also understanding that that thing sometimes changes in different seasons. Not God doesn't change. We're changing as we're growing. But
Shout out to Megan Good.
Is that who that was?
What's going on, people? This is No Labels Podcast. I am your host, Willie G. We got Miss Audrey in the building.
Y'all.
We got the Queen in the building. We gonna get them juices
Hey.
flowing real quick. How y'all doing?
What's up? We good. Oh, we got the bangers to Saturday night.
Hold on, y'all. I'm coming. I'm just getting my juices flowing.
No labels after dark.
I'm,
Hey.
I'm just getting the juices flowing.
Listen. Listen. Is that Kira Shear?
All right, we here. What's going on, peoples? How y'all feeling? How you doing, Audrey?
I'm good. I'm great.
How you
y'all?
feeling? How you feeling on this Saturday
It's
evening?
Saturday because I've been losing track of days,
It's
which
Saturday.
is not uncommon for me. But it is. I've been kind of like a day behind, so I keep thinking it's Friday. It's Saturday.
It's definitely Saturday.
Happy
I'm
Saturday.
gonna be real. Like time go by a whole lot faster. Like when remember when we had summer break, and it seemed like summer break lasted for. It seemed like summer break was like a whole year. Them little 3 months,
It was.
them like 2.5 months. It felt like a long time. Summer break used to feel like now.
It was a real break.
It was a real like, bro. It felt like a long time. But now it's like, bro, time go by so fast because like once you graduate, you realize ain't no more summer break. Do you remember like your first summer when you didn't have it was your first adult summer when it wasn't a summer break? Do you remember that? You remember that feeling like, dang.
I mean, in college you still kind of feel it, but it was different. But then, it's just like once you know with college, all of life is summer break. You better figure out something. I don't know if your work gonna give you a summer break.
I'm talking about that first summer when you realize that you can't like yeah, it ain't no break.
Oh.
I gotta keep going.
Like once you start working, it's just like
yeah. No.
But yeah, I remember I work in retail, so retail is usually on when everybody else is off. You know, so when there are holidays or something, that's when we on and popping. Like when everybody else is like, oh my gosh, we got spring break. Spring break where y'all come to shop with it. You know, so I've always had a different timing on when is school out, when only as it relates to the shopping season. Cause I just know like we're gonna have an influx of traffic because people are off of work or out of school. So
How y'all feeling though? Y'all good? We loose?
yeah,
We loose? And almost at the end of the year.
I know.
Tw-
2024.
No,
Listen, yes.
You got to take a shot to 2024 because it been Cat Williams. It been Cat Williams 2024.
It's been
Ever since Cat Williams sat on that couch, 2024.
on Club Shay Shay.
20 yeah. Ever since Cat Williams sat on that couch on Club Shay Shay, 2024 been crazy. You feel me? We got baby oil.
Oh my!
It's been crazy.
We had a whole beef.
So
We had the greatest beef of all time.
you know what I'm saying?
Kendrick and Drake.
Yes, we had of all time of our generation.
But yeah, look.
It's revived like the whole even concept of hip hop beef because it was dying out, wasn't it?
We had
I don't know.
We had the election of the century.
Yes, definitely that.
You know what I'm saying?
And we
2024
still
been wild.
strapped in.
2024 has been crazy. But man, look, we got
But No Labels podcast still here.
still here. 4 years, yo.
I felt like I went off. I know, like as far as the podcast, I had to go off the grid for a minute, and I remember something like, but still standing, still strong. Listen, still standing. We're still strong.
But
We out here.
I got some icebreakers.
Let's break
I got
some ice.
It
Y'all make me take a solo shot to the podcast.
yeah.
Okay.
It
Cheers.
has been some news that I do want to talk about.
Pick a headline. Just put a headline roll days. There's a lot going on.
I know y'all heard about the Jay-Z situation. Have y'all heard about the Jay-Z situation?
I heard bits and pieces. I haven't heard.
They done already dismissing it a little bit. Whoever was it backtracking the story.
Cause you know, Jay-Z ain't got time for them games, and he moved like he ain't got time for them games.
Yeah, Jay-Z. It's looking bad for the girl who
The lawyer.
cause they already starting to backtrack. the dad said he don't remember nothing. It's looking bad for them right now. But that's just I ain't gonna dive too much. I really wanna see what y'all think about this United Healthcare assassin thing. Now all these things are alleged, but they have been reported on Fox News, etc. But allegedly he was found with a written manifesto.
They
And-
published a manifesto, haven't they?
And
They've been calling it a mini-festo because it's only like 242 words.
and they
So
said
it was like it's not even a manifesto; it's more like a mini-festo.
it said that written manifesto expressed anger at the healthcare industry, stating that violence was the only way to bring change and referring to healthcare executives as parasites. That was some of the stuff that was written allegedly in the manifesto. So, and the video was actually on the internet.
That's crazy.
The internet was, and honestly, just putting like this is above my pay grade, people. So this is just I'm just putting my 10-4 hat on. Like he looked very comfortable. Like he didn't look like somebody that didn't look like his first time. Like you know,
Oh, they're talking about the shooter.
yeah. Like you know how
He looked like
he looked like
a
some,
regular,
yeah, like some Denzel, like some
like Equalizer.
Equalizer type job. Like it was so like bro,
Equalizer is what I love. Equalizer, by the way.
it's a weird situation, and it's just like and it just even goes in like we can go on like we need to have a conspiracy episode because we can go in a whole loophole on just like 'cause the healthcare, like we all need it, but the healthcare is really like this like drug cartels. Like honestly, like they making like I was telling my mama like she got all these pills that she take because she older, and I'm like, what money? Just thinking as a hustler, why would I want you to be healed? If you're healed,
There's no money in cures.
there's no money in cure. Like why would I want you to actually be well?
No, what? There's no money in wellness.
You know how
I ain't
much
gonna say
money-
no money, but there's no money in a cure.
There is no money in the cure.
There's no money in the cure.
There is no money in no sustainable growth in anything that doesn't keep you coming back.
So it doesn't make sense to actually make something that's going to heal you, money wise.
Right. If your goal
It's money.
is to make money, then that's not a great business model.
That's all I'm saying, people. I mean, that's all. Like,
But if you are in the business of really helping people live healthy lives, that's a whole different thing. But they're gonna cross-pollinate in that.
It's like you
industry,
coming on my
and in a
block.
lot of industries. But if the goal is to be profitable, then okay. So let's put it in a different arena. It's one thing to like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
It's another thing to plan to go to Chick-fil-A or put aside a Chick-fil-A. It's one thing to like, Target is convenient. It's another thing to have a whole different like Target allowance. It's one thing to like Starbucks. It's another thing to have a standing order. The profit is getting you to come back.
And that's just
And
good
so
business.
if you yes, that is, And have you ever? I've heard this talked about several times, but have you ever heard the phrase planned obsolescence?
Plans, I don't know.
You know what it means to become obsolete, so it's not relevant anymore.
Okay.
There's a planned obsolescence. So apparently, if you go over and search it, and I like to give credit, but I can't think of where I heard it, but it did the whole thing. But when the light bulb, like when it came out, like the invention of the light bulb, okay, one thing as an invention, but another thing to mass produce it and make it available for people to buy in their homes. There are light bulbs that will burn forever, like for our lifetimes. But as a business model to sell light bulbs,
That burn forever.
once I sell you one, you're never my customer again if that product can do that. So it's like, okay, let's make a version of this where it does eventually burn out.
And you gonna need
Because
it.
we gotta get them to come back and buy.
Exactly.
So
Always gotta follow the money. Like I'm gonna be real. Like
the money,
like,
see where it
This
goes.
is what faith meets culture, and it's like
how did I get off that far?
I don't know, but I like it because I'm a conspiracy theorist on the low.
That's what
feel
this is where conspiracy theories take you down little holes, and you be like, how did I get here?
But you know the crazy part about it is
We were
like,
talking about broccoli. How did I get here?
but the crazy part about it is the truth is usually stranger than fiction. Like the things that we don't know is probably so crazy, and it's obviously things we don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I don't dive into things that I don't know. I don't like to think about it in a deep way that I try because I don't know. That's just I just like my relationship with God. Yes, I have a relationship with God, but there's certain things about God I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And I ask and I'm curious, but it's
So
like
yeah, like there's a difference in having a curiosity towards something
yeah,
that, and that's gonna make you like I always want to be
curious.
curious, but there are certain things that I know enough, even if it's a small amount. So there are certain things that I know enough about to know that I don't care to. I'm not curious beyond what I already know. I don't like certain things. Like I know enough about that to know that that's not for me. I don't need to hear anymore. You know. So like yeah, I'm always curious, and I love that I'm curious, and I think that's what keeps relationships healthy, staying curious. It's like even in a marriage as simple as how was your day today,
Yeah,
because yeah, you talked to her yesterday, but I'm still curious. This is a whole new day. Did something happen today that didn't happen yesterday? So curiosity, I think, keeps relationships alive
Right.
over time.
I think curiosity makes life worth living.
Yeah.
Cause it'd be boring just to, you know what I'm saying, not to be curious, not to be trying new
to
things.
not and not to be to deliberately try new things or just living in the possibility that you could stumble upon something new. That's exciting to me.
Okay, this is where I geek out at, and I search I search weird facts, and one of the facts that I do like to search is like people's last regrets when they before they about to die,
Oh my.
and because
Morbid much?
not morbid, it may be morbid to you, but it's like I want to prevent that.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
it's just like,
I do understand it.
so it's like just by stats, they say one of the biggest regrets that people have is not having the courage to be themselves, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the biggest responses, like not having the courage to be themselves, not 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 having enough courage. It's almost like because we've been watching Transformers. We've been going back and watching Transformers, and in the first Transformers, like when they finally find out who Bumblebee is, and it's like Bumblebee come in front of him, and Shia LaBeouf say he wants us to get in the car, and then
50 years from now, will you regret it?
he tell her 50 years from now, when you look back, don't you want to say you got in the car?
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That type of deal.
She had the courage to get in the
That
car.
you had the courage to get in the car, and it's like, but it's crazy. That's just crazy to me. Just like one of the biggest regrets is they didn't have the courage to be themselves. That a large part of their life was putting on this mask of whatever they putting on, perfection.
Whatever.
This.
Yeah. That makes that just the whole idea of that makes me nervous for the younger generation coming up because they've got so many avenues telling them what to think in rapid succession before they've had a chance to first of all develop and grow in their own natural cognitive ability, their own reasoning and decision making, and how early are they introduced to how the available voices when you talk about the internet
A lot of information.
that's telling you. So I think it's introduced so early before you have a chance to establish your own baseline of thought.
That's true.
Like, do I even know what I think before I go into this conversation? Because if it's something, and you listen to people that are very passionate talking about something that you don't have an opinion on, and you listen to people argue and debate, you'll likely leave with an opinion, but based off one of theirs and who was most compelling to you, as opposed to like, I do have at least some idea of some thoughts around whatever this subject matter is going in. Now, maybe I could be persuaded when new information is introduced. Yeah. But when you go into so many scenarios where people are so passionate and you were like, I wasn't even thinking about that, and now I'm being told what to think about it.
That's facts.
And so it makes me nervous.
No, that's
to the point where you got people living the whole life and like the regret is to not be me. I just know I've seen it. I've been through my own versions of it, and then it's not limited to an age. But when you start seeing people who are older, you realize like, wow, you still don't really know who you are.
No, and that's crazy.
Like people older than me, people younger than me, and like you can still figure it out. You're still here, but like how many years have already been invested into who? That's when I said on an older podcast, but I was like, once I got with God, like I need to become a student of me because I don't want to be nobody else. The best life is the one that I have. The best gifts are the one you gave me.
Yeah.
So teach me about what's in me. Because I can't understand all my responses, all my reactions, all my things. And so when you know that that's available and you start to walk with God and you see yourself revealed to yourself, it's an amazing experience. And you know you got, but to get to the end of life and that be the regret, I can see how that's a major regret. And then, so again, I think when you have that mindset, like I said, not quite so morbid, it does provoke thought, and it does like, you know what? Not leading with a scary thought, but with that thought in mind, how would I approach life differently?
Yeah.
But with the younger generation, to the point like, well, where's your brain even starting from as far as independent thought?
It's too much information. Like you don't have time. Like you don't have time to figure out who you are because you got everybody telling you who you are.
Or who
Like,
you're
you got-
supposed to
who
be,
you supposed to be.
or we got so many more categories for people now
And it's-
than we ever had, at least when we were growing up. Now, of course, there were always, but this, oh, you're this type of person. Oh, I have this, or I am this, and it's so many
It's
things.
pressure.
And it's almost like people want to be categorized,
Mm-hmm.
to be given a sense of identity. Hey, label me, because I don't know who I am, and I don't have a relationship with my creator. I don't know that I even believe that I have a creator. I don't know if I'm in the, you know what I'm saying? So you got to work through all of that. But people are desperate to like, give me somewhere to fit in. Give me a label. Give me an identity.
Right.
Yeah, and it's
So I can find my people.
It's all
And other
this-
people like me and feel less alone. So because I don't know a creator source to go to, let me go to somebody I think knows more than I do, and at least something resonates. But as much as people say like I just want to be me, I'm just doing me. An underlying thing is people are looking for a label. Why do we have so many now
yeah.
than we did before? When we were growing up, it wasn't this many, and I'm sure they're making up words and making up. I'm like, this is called what? Oh, we just called that this, and we just lived our life. Now it has an official thing, and that could tie into, oh, if we call it a thing and compare it to what we're calling normal, now we can say it's off. We can create a medicine for it. Like, don't get me started.
That's
You wanted
why-
to go conspiracy theories?
what-
We're on a rabbit hole. Let's
That's why
rabbit hole.
transparency is medicine when it's used correctly. Cause
Yes.
Because like you got the internet telling women they should be this kind of women, and you got the internet telling men they should be this kind of men, and it's like a lot of it. Some of it is good. 'Cause, like I follow good content creators, but a lot of it is toxic, and
A lot of it is.
a lot of it, you got a lot of young dudes out here walk around really trying to be a man, wholeheartedly trying to be a man by what they being told the man is, and not being told that it's okay as a man to have emotions. You
Yeah.
feel what I'm saying? Like not talking
As
to
a sidebar, a commercial that keeps coming through my YouTube
what's that?
that annoys me to no end. And it's basically some company selling this new whatever fabric and style of hoodies.
Yeah.
And basically it's like, you're a man. Stop wearing all those layers to go outside. Hey, wear a hoodie like a man. I was like, is this what y'all are calling manhood?
Yeah.
There was like, this other one just has a kangaroo pouch in the front, and there was like, stop putting on all those layers. And I was like,
And the crazy thing about it, like you can see it, like
and I'm like,
man to man.
whatever man thinks that this is making him a man, that ain't the man for me.
Like man to man, like you can see it in the man. Like a lot of the dudes they got. See what happened is like it be a lot of bitter dudes. I can't speak for women, but you can tell almost when you look at a man, and you can tell like he didn't really get girls like that when he was younger. Now he popping. You feel him? And it ain't even about your looks. You know what I'm saying? Because we say this thing, it's not on you, it's in you. You
Yeah.
feel what I'm saying? It's how you carry yourself, and it's like you can tell. Not you know what I'm saying? Like you ain't really get female like that. Now you got. A lot of it is that, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, we
Yeah.
got to be healed. You feel what I'm saying? It's a lot of bitter, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of bitter niggas on these podcast mics. You feel what I'm saying? And you can tell.
It's a lot of bitter, a lot out there.
You know what I'm saying?
on the
But
podcast
we can go
mics.
for it because we went into a rabbit hole.
Listen.
The title of the podcast is it's a thin line between love and hate.
Between faith and crazy.
Faith and crazy. I'm thinking about the movie. It's a thin line. It's a thin line between faith and crazy. And
But
That's
now,
good
no, wait.
conversation.
I will say, because we did. This is what happened with conspiracy theories. They take you down a rabbit hole. That's the only place they lead. But the reaction to a man getting like shot down in the street,
yeah.
like but also you didn't pay my deductible or whatever. Also, you didn't pay out my claim. Excuse me. Like, it revealed a real anger. Like, it's not excusing what happened because that, like, it's hard to think about the two things in the same space. But yeah, like, that's a crazy reaction. But also, like,
It's a crazy reaction.
you as however it sounds to whoever, you can't ignore that this is the response from people around this issue. And it's also tragic.
It's a lot of issues with healthcare.
This man who reportedly, like I heard from one of the news, what was it? Is it the Bulwark or MSNBC? But they were saying that actually anybody that worked with him was saying that he was really on the side of change.
Yeah.
Of moving, but people want somebody to blame when things don't go right in their life.
Yeah. That's fact.
And that could be a very desperate thing. Like, I really need somebody to blame for why my life isn't going right or why this bad thing is happening to me. And I'm not saying that people aren't at fault, but that's a real thing that people act on.
Yeah.
The need to blame someone or something.
Yeah. It's a crutch for a lot of people. Yeah, that victim mentality, that's a dangerous thing because I mean, sometimes you is the victim, but sometimes you're not.
Sometimes you are, but then when you add the context of thes people when it's a money issue, they won't pay this thing out. I am paying for this insurance, and these people at the top of this entity got millions and billions of whatever, and they won't pay out my $2,500 or whatever, or they say, if my surgery's taking a little long, well, if you still need anesthesia, we ain't paying for it after 4 hours.
Yeah, we ain't paying the rest after 4 hours. So that's crazy.
And that's the thing too. Is like once things start to go so far off the rails in any situation in this political climate and how politics is encouraging all this vigilantism, but even in anything, it's like just be careful about what affects who you listen to. Like we said before, know what you think about things, but I don't know. It's a little. I don't know. I'm trying to not say anything. Just go get us in trouble. It's just crazy. It's a crazy climate to live in.
Situation. It's a crazy situation. We can't go down the rabbit hole because, like I said, it is a real issue amongst the people, especially with the healthcare. Like I'm not paying your anesthesia after 4 hours. So what's gonna happen? I'm gonna die. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But we can go on.
Yes.
Title of the podcast is a thin line between
faith and crazy.
And this is what I got in my mind. We can build off it, but I think it is. I think in order for you to achieve anything worth achieving, I think anything, let's say great, anything big, I think you have to toe that line. I think you have to toe that line, and I don't believe that God will ask you to do anything that is crazy, but it may feel crazy.
And you may look crazy to people that don't understand.
And you may look almost.
And how crazy do you look to yourself when you truthfully don't understand?
Yeah, because you gotta walk with a certain level of delusion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying believing in God is delusional, but what I'm saying is,
it can feel like it sometimes.
It can feel like
it's not, but feeling like it don't have to be it.
Because like saying like, okay, what is, like we was talking about for the podcast, what does it look like to be led by God? Like, I'm saying God is telling me to take this podcast, grow this podcast, you know what I'm saying? Where faith meets culture, and we bring it to the forefront. But what does that look like tangibly? Honestly, I don't have the words to say it. Honestly, like, I don't have the words to communicate it. It really is another world, another level. You know what I'm saying? And it's real to me, so real to me that I can feel it. Like, in times when I'm by myself, in times of solitude, I can feel it. Like, I can, like, what God is showing me, that vision, I can see myself in it. I can feel the reaction. I can feel the goosebumps. So it's like, but I can't explain to you in my words what that is like. And it's like, I don't see God. Like, God don't come and sit on my bed. I haven't seen God physically. I'm not saying he don't do that, but I ain't never seen God. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. Me personally, I've never heard him audibly like I'm hearing Audrey or like I'm hearing Keandra right now. I've never heard him audibly myself, but I hear him. You know what I'm saying? But it's always uh in me, if that makes sense. So I just want to talk about like just that whole concept of it, because it is a thin line. You can't be
Yes.
too logical and walk with God. You can't be too logical and walk with God, because I'm telling you, like some stuff ain't gonna make
No.
sense. Some
And
like you feel crazy
if
doing it.
if you need all of the steps for you to move, then you'll never move. Because God laying out all the steps in front of you does not require faith. It just requires obedience.
Right.
Um, and sometimes those things again, team up, and sometimes they're very distinctly different things. But if you waiting for like, okay, I'll move when God give me all the steps, you ain't going nowhere.
I think a
Because
lot.
He's saying, you take a step and I'll reveal the next one. It's just like, well, no, could you give me 3, 4? No,
Yeah, faith is
like it's
doing
that
then seeing.
that just enough light for the step I'm on.
Yeah.
Give me this day my daily bread, and it's a manna season where it's like, you know what? Don't even waste your thought thinking about tomorrow, because that thought gonna spoil before you get there. Like that whole like when people try to store up manna, it's like the maggot's gonna get it. I told you, get what you need for today. You can go back to the Lord's Prayer. Give us this day our daily bread. And God, He wants that level of trust of like, I think the best way for me that I can describe that level of trust is like you around somebody like, just stick with me. And they to the point like you asking questions and asking questions and asking questions. Like, what would you do to your child? They to the point they just bombarding you. It's like, you know what? Just stick with me. When I move, when I tell you what to do, do it. And I move, you move, just like that, all that
Yeah.
stuff. But, and at some point, if you keep walking, the questions from that, like the child's questions start to come. And eventually you just develop like, I'm just walking and moving. And when he say something, I'm listening. And maybe if he say something, I haven't made a question back. But as far as like just question, like, what are we doing? Are we there yet? What we doing? How we going? We here? That, just that. And you're not getting nothing back. It's just like, just walk.
And you gotta learn. You gotta learn to take a chance on crazy, because when you don't, because like when you haven't built that trust relationship at the beginning, it looks like this. Like, okay, this feeling I can't shake, and this feeling been here for like a week, and this feeling is telling you to do this thing that you ain't never did before, but you can't shake it. So you got one or two choices. You either jump out on crazy, you know what I'm saying? Of course, you praying, you asking the Lord, okay, is this you? Give me a sign, all this. But at some point in time, you got to jump out and say, okay, this is what God telling me to do, and I'm gonna do it. At some point in time, you gotta jump out on crazy, and you can put that in any aspect of life, in business and growth. Like if you don't want to remain at the same level, you know what I'm saying, that you currently are. At some point in time, you got to jump out on crazy, as because logic sometimes is the enemy of faith.
Oh yes.
Because
Oh
because because
yes.
because logical, because it makes no sense. I'm a husband. Okay, I got kids, and only do this if God telling you. But like I'm not telling. But let's just say God tell me tonight. Okay, I want you to quit your job and move here. And I'm not saying He telling me this. This is just an
Yeah.
example.
You good?
You know what I'm saying? Like
Don't the Lord tell me to?
that. Like and something like that. You better make sure you hear God. You feel me?
Yeah,
'Cause
you wanna.
I done been the one who like prematurely like thought I heard God and it wasn't God, and I fell flat on my face, and that happens. Like I want to tell like in you and God in that growing relationship, sometimes you do miss the mark. Sometimes
Yeah.
sometimes you thought you heard but you didn't. But you're learning. You know what I'm saying? It's better than staying on the bench, because some people never get in the game.
Let
You know
me
what I'm
ask
saying?
you this question. I'm trying to figure out how to word it. Okay, so for me, it's different experiences through my relationship with God to where, um, I may hear something.
Yeah.
The best way I can describe it is like a download, but hear kind of
I
audibly,
know
but
exactly
hear.
what, I know exactly what you're talking
And
about.
then you got sometimes you get a vision and you see. Do you? Because you don't tell everybody everything, but then you just have that inner circle. Of course, you have your wife.
Yeah.
Do you find it more difficult trying to convey what you've seen and trying to get somebody to see what you see, or trying to convey what you've heard and get somebody trying to understand what you heard in the way that you heard it?
What I
Or is
heard.
that too deep a question?
No, I get it. No, cause like no, it's true. Like
Because you pulling on analogies and metaphors, and you trying to pull on everything. Like, I know what I see. What picture can I paint with my words to help you see it enough to move in something I'm asking you to do, or at least believe me and not think I'm totally crazy?
Talking
You
about
know.
my relationship with God is like it's like trying to use worldly terms for something that's not
Yeah,
of
that's
this world.
Right. Well, that's
Like
good.
yeah, it
like
is.
having a relationship with God is not of this world. It is truly supernatural. But I'm trying to communicate it in worldly words that we use every day, and it's limited.
It is, but I really think, as someone who studies like the teachers in the Bible, I love studying Paul, I love studying Jesus, but Jesus had to do that.
He did. And
That's where parables come from. Like,
he
listen,
did.
okay, I got this earthly assignment. Hey, I came through Mary. All right, I'm here with y'all, and one of y'all are flesh and bones. Also, I'm from the kingdom, and I understand the kingdom, and I need to make y'all, Lord Jesus. I'm looking at what I'm working with. I need to make y'all understand the kingdom. Okay,
Yeah.
what you do? You a farmer? All right, we're gonna work with that. You a fisherman? Okay, okay, so farmers, when you plant like apple trees, you fully expect to get apple trees and not like bananas or watermelons. You fully expect that the seeds you planted is going to give you back in the same kind that you sowed. If you understand that, you understand reaping and sowing. What you sow is what you'll reap. The kingdom work the same way. If you understand that, you'll understand this. And when we have in our day-to-day conversations trying to maybe explain what God has revealed to us or a vision, we're pulling on, like, we get it. We heard what we heard, but it's just like, okay, who am I talking to? Okay, you do hair. Ooh, let me see, because I got it, but I'm trying to translate it into a language that you speak so that the understanding is full.
And you doing it, and the crazy thing about it is, like, he did it in such a simple way. Like, Jesus talked about profound things in simple ways. I believe that the best communicators can take something really complicated and explain it really simply
Albert Einstein said, if you cannot explain something
to a child.
simply, then you don't understand it well enough.
See, that's what I'm saying.
If you can't explain it simply or teach it in a simple way, then you yourself don't understand it well
And
enough.
that's my thing. Like, well,
And I try to.
and now, 'cause I mean, now it's kind of catching blaze. But at one point in time, like the church space kind of stayed away from the podcast when it was fresh. But
What happened?
like the church space, like when podcasts first
okay.
jumped out, like churches wasn't really on the podcast like that. Now it's changed, but it's like that's why it's so important. Even when it come into faith, communicating the gospel, it's like Jesus spoke the language of his day. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like
The language of his day, the language of
his
his
culture,
region,
of his
of
culture.
his culture,
and we gotta learn to
of
do
his
that.
terrain.
We gotta be able to communicate. We gotta be able to communicate this kingdom, this gospel, this good news in today's terms, in whatever culture that we'll place.
But it goes back into, and I don't know what that specific word, whatever, but what I'm talking about when I say the smoking section, in the Bible, I talk about this in my book, and the Bible says that we are ambassadors of Christ, for
Yeah.
Christ. And what it means to be ambassador is to really, to represent, to be a go-between between nations, and whatever kingdom or nation you're representing. Yes, you have to be fluent. So if we represent the kingdom, we got to really, really first study the kingdom. First instruction, seek first the kingdom. But then when he calls us into assignment, how effective, and this is where I think a lot of people in church spaces miss the mark, because now we're learning about the kingdom, and now we're learning about having our relationship with God and how we should treat one another and all these different teachings and all this stuff. And we do that, and now we get these assignments into these different pockets of the world, and we don't take the time to give that same study to the world we've been assigned to.
Yeah.
And so now we going to bash the Bible over their head with no understanding of how to even talk to them.
Yeah.
They not gonna even hear you. You remember which one of the Tyler Perry movies? One of the ones I saw in the theater. Which one of the Tyler Perry movies? And it was controversial for like 10 seconds. But one of the ones Viola Davis was in, and she was a minister, but she went out on the streets.
Yeah.
And somebody said,
I know
somebody said, go to hell. She said, you go first.
I know he's
And
talking
that
about.
was a very.
Goes to jail.
Medea goes
Was
to
that
jail.
was she in jail? Was she going to jail by that point?
Medea goes to jail.
Listen, tell her Tyler Perry. But I think that was so important to see ministry portrayed that way. I'm not saying go out and be vulgar or whatever, but if you assign to that, then you need to be able. How are you gonna get them to hear you?
Right.
I'm not saying to compromise your standards or anything, but if you've been assigned there, here's the script and here's the language. It's like going undercover. And we got like believers that we got some undercover spaces to go through. Like it's a whole division of law enforcement that are trained to go undercover. Everybody's not, but we need some people in order to be effective and really get the crime or whatever sin, however you want to put it, to represent God and bring a light to these dark spaces. Who can we get in? And there's certain, like if you look at them, okay, take it back into entertainment space, the movie Miss Congeniality. Love that movie. We need an undercover cop. She got to go in a very specific space. She got to go to a beauty pageant. That rules out all the men. You know?
Yeah.
So these assignments are tailor-made for us. This is the point I'm making.
You got to be
so
unique.
first of all, you got to, okay, so now what women do we have within this age bracket who are beautiful enough that could even pass to possibly be a beauty pageant? And they narrowed it down to 2, and now one of them is pregnant, so she automatically disqualified. So, and you know, you see what I'm saying? And I think we get assignments like that. But there's so much criteria. Like, listen, if that's my assignment, I don't have to learn how to walk and wax and do all the different things.
Yeah.
And glide and float. But if that's her assignment, she's got to learn that. She's got to know how to go and say what she got to say and not find this person, whatever. And also world peace.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that goes back to.
I think we kind of miss it. We kind of miss it. You do,
and you got to be who you are. Cause I was saying, and you saying that, it is like going back to that the conversation I said earlier when one of the most popular final regrets for people is not having the courage to be themselves. It's like, okay, everybody's not designed to go in every place. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you built this way. You know what I'm saying? You communicate this way. You talk this way, whether in music, whether in comedy, whether in business. But you not being you. You know what I'm saying? So your whole life, you trying to fit in. Your whole life, your heart and your spirit leaning toward doing this, but you doing this because it makes sense.
So to that point, with everything you just said, hold all of that. Do you think that some people who have more of a resistance to accepting what God has assigned to them or called them to do, is it based on everything you said? Would you say that it's instead of like, because some people are like, oh, I'm wrestling with this thing God wants me to do. Is it a wrestle with the assignment or a wrestle with your own identity? Because like, why would he call somebody like who I think I am to do this thing?
It is a big.
And that's why God's like, I know what I think towards you. So you gotta. So is it a misalignment? Like sometimes like the whole thing of like, there's no way I can do that because. It comes down to you don't know who you are.
It does. And I was telling Keandra, I tell a little bit. I ain't gonna open too big of the closet, but
is that the wrestle? Is that the war?
I think that's what I'm saying now. It's like for me, even when you're talking about that, going off of that, one of my biggest struggles was even now sometimes is with the struggle with worthiness. And what I mean is sometimes because God does deal with me. He does speak to me. He does. You know, there's a real relationship there, but sometimes I feel unworthy of the relationship because I know me. You know what I'm saying? Even now, I'm a better man than I've ever been in my life, but still, I know me. And sometimes I really struggle with unworthiness. Like sometimes, I'm like sometimes even though I know the formula is that it's by His Spirit, not by my strength, but sometimes I want to say, "Hold on, God, let me get it together."
Yeah.
Like. I'm tempted with that, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so I think what you're saying, like that wrestle. So, a lot of times that wrestle we having is just the wrestle of worthiness. It's almost like in the Bible when Jesus said his parable about the tax collector and I believe the beggar, and the tax collector said something like, I'm paraphrasing, like, thank God I'm not like this thief or this beggar, and the tax collector. Thank God I'm not like this tax collector. But the tax collector prayed, like I know. Yeah. I know I'm not worthy of this.
You got that in the New Testament. If you go back to the Old Testament, you go back to Jonah trying to full on run away from an assignment. Yeah. You know, but you got Moses like, dude, who am I to go talk to these people? And God going toe to toe with his prophets, like, who made your mouth? And so it's in that it's saying, I know more about you than you know about you. And so if you could take the time to understand you would understand why this is your assignment instead of jumping past and fighting the assignment.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, go and do what? How? First of all, you don't know who you are.
We don't know.
Because if you knew and I think if we knew who we were, our assignments that God gives us would make more sense.
Yeah.
And even in that, they're still scary and big, but I don't think we spend as much time fighting or resisting, like, oh my God, you could not have meant that for me. It's like you don't know enough about yourself.
It is a fight.
And so, God, teach me what you know about me.
I mean, even just that relationship with God, you have to wrestle with your humanity.
Yeah, but like we were saying before the podcast, like, you get an assignment from God that sound crazy. That wouldn't work if we weren't building a relationship with God along the way.
Well, no, it's a build up. Like he's not going.
Like he don't come out the gate.
It's
glory to glory.
It's a real thing. But I know.
But he's not asking people to do these major, like, oh my gosh, I'm putting it all on the line, faith assignments without establishing some relationship. Like, okay, let me let you learn what my voice sounds like. My sheep know my voice, and they won't follow. Like, let's have you take out a lion and a bear before we throw you up against. So now this giant Goliath looks like nothing. Before we, to the point you like David volunteering, like, well, I've just been out in the field just doing my assignment anyway and taking out lions and bears. You want me to take this giant out? Like, so now you volunteering for stuff that looks crazy in the faith that, listen, I don't know what you come with, but I come in the name of the Lord, and you going down. I don't even need all 5 of my stones to take you out.
And like even in seeing yourself, if you see yourself small, I know you don't see God in the right light. Because I was telling Keandra, even like anything concerning your purpose, anything you concern doing with God, understand that. That's why you need time to just meditate for a little while, quiet time, to really think about what you saying and what you doing. Because whatever you do on the behalf of God and His kingdom, it's not just global. It's eternal. Like what you're doing what you're doing for God is on a level that should speak for eternity. You know what I'm saying? Like what you doing. Like it's a clip with Jackie Hill Perry, and it's saying that like social media is being used for a lot of people as like this validation thing that not like it's being used as this thing to be seen. You know what I'm saying? Not really even think about that you are seen by God. You may not be celebrated by people. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Just like some people look at being celebrated by people as being seen by God.
Ooh,
but you can be not celebrated and still
for a bad crash
and still seen by God. You know what I'm saying? And it's this thirst, really. You know what I'm saying? And social media feeds that thirst, honestly. Mm-hmm. And the thirst is to be seen, to be known, to be loved, to be appreciated, which is all available in God. But it's like
so available.
We really got to let go of this fake picture of success. You know what I'm saying? Because it is possible to be doing a good thing and not being noticed for it now. It's called preparation. You know what I'm saying?
It's good stewardship, preparation, discipline.
It's
as unto the Lord, is what my mother would say.
Everybody that's celebrated ain't, you know what I'm saying, ain't really, everybody that's being celebrated ain't, everybody not really doing that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it is smoke and mirrors. A lot of
it is smoke and mirrors. And I want real things.
Man, you know what? Speaking of smoke and mirrors,
what you got?
I do wanna play this clip real quick because I said a lot, and I'm gonna just say you probably done heard it before.
Yeah, I just don't operate from a place of desperation.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't. Listen, I'll be honest with you. No, that's too honest. I ain't gonna. I had to really. Yeah, no. Sometimes when you be thinking in your mind, because you know, Fat's not here. If my wife was here, she'd be like, "Yeah, don't do that." So I heard her say, "Don't do that," and I said, "All right, let me reel it in." So I just don't operate from a place of desperation, and yeah, I'm really free in real life. You know how some people be like, "Man, no, I'm really free in real life."
I want to stop right there. Like,
Toby?
Yeah, it's Toby, and he said, "I'm like we said all the time, but I'm really free."
Yeah.
I'm really free. I'm telling you that I'm really free.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the battles, like I'm really free in real life. And it's like that's the success. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people are moving out of a place of desperation, whether fear of lack, you know what I'm saying? Insecurities is at an all-time high. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Trying to be seen, trying to find their tribe, trying to fit in somewhere. Validation. And a lot of people are moving out of just, you know what I'm saying, thirst. You know what I'm saying? These things. I'm trying to be filled. Like even like
It, I think the thing that breaks my heart with it, because I struggle with God, with wrestle for years, my own sense of purpose and who I am, and once you really, really believe what God says about you, and like, no, I am significant. I would not even exist. My existence is proof that I'm significant. When you really believe at that level, like I do now, when you see people, it's like when you see people trying really hard and like in search of, I want to feel significant. I've seen people hide behind illnesses for that. Like, oh, and that's you've seen, like, it's a thing.
no,
You know,
it is.
where and my concern, based on what I believe, is you'll never. How far you gonna go to feel it, because you'll never find it, because you already are. You know what I'm saying? So if you like if I see you walking all over the streets of Savannah and just searching, just digging holes, I'm looking for $100, and I know it's in your pocket.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you it's there. You like, nah, you just too stubborn to take the time. Stop. You done invested so much into, no, this is my thing now. I'm known for the guy digging. Looking, like it's $100 in your pocket. Like, it just is always right there. And so if you're looking for something externally that you have internally, you're going to always be on that hunt, because you're never going to find what's not there. It's not where you're looking for it. And that's to the point where it's like, I don't care how global it is. To be global is not the same thing as being eternal.
And but everything you saying is this right here. Like the first thing God does after he saves your spirit is changes your mind. Because like this,
change
like
your mind,
this
changes
is,
your language.
This is where the war is at. It's like how you think. One of my favorite Bible scriptures is those who do know that God will be strong and do great exploits.
Mm-hmm.
Like my strength comes from my relationship with God, and it's like, yes, I am human. Yes, I know I have limitations, but do I feel regular? No, I don't feel like a regular human. You know what I'm saying? Because how can I be regular and have a relationship with God Almighty? I do feel like that I can do all things. Like Jesus said, anything is possible for those who believe. I took him literally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not on this podcast. I'm not talking to my friends. I'm not with my wife. We're not doing this thing because I'm hoping. I'm just throwing something out in the water. I'm just being obedient and I'm being patient. But I have no doubt. I put no limits, no glass ceilings. Like however high, however far God wants to take us, and this I believe in it, because I think when it boils down to it, I believe God doesn't, like, God wants to do big things. He's a big God, but it's like so many people putting these limits on him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I can't do this now because I'm 16, or I can't do this because I'm a woman, or I can't do this because I came from this. That's why if this don't change, it's real limited to what God can do through your life, because He can only do what your mindset will allow.
Yeah.
So it's dangerous to have a we are small like grasshopper type mentality. It's really dangerous to think like that. But it's a process. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
Go ahead and do it.
But that's it. That's all.
No, it's like, no, because you gotta.
It's like, no, we look like this to ourselves in our own sight. Like, that's what the grasshoppers thing. He came back. They were like, they were this. We saw our opponent as this, and in our own sight, we saw ourselves this way. God is like, what did I say? Because that overrides what you see, what you feel. What did I say? Did I say it's yours? Go get it. Right. And you got two. It's like, no, we can take it. And God is on our side. Right.
And it just takes such a level.
Just like what that Ty Trippy sound like. No, we got the Lord with us.
Right.
We got the Lord with us. I don't know what y'all do, but we got the Lord with us. We got the King with us.
And you gotta come with that. I mean, it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be scared. But to live small out of fear is not the way I choose to live. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, to live, like, the most dangerous thing you can ever get addicted to, somebody posted the other day, is comfortability. It's being comfortable. The most dangerous thing you can get addicted to is being comfortable. Because if you're addicted to being comfortable, then you will never get something that's worth getting, you know, because everything that's really worth getting is out of your comfort zone. Just like Will Smith said, the best things are on the other side of fear, and that's true. Like until you test yourself, until you widen your horizons, until you jump out on crazy, like you're not really living for real, for real. Like you just you maintain it. That's my opinion. I might just be a little adventurous, but I mean I don't know. I think
It's like faith to have you out there. It's just like it's a little wild, but trust God, hang in there. All things really do work together. But it's a wild ride. It's some pockets. It's like, oh, all right. But stay hang in there with God. Hang in there with Him. Hang in there with yourself.
Just that mentality that you gotta have. Like you look at pro athletes. Like you look at like track. Like I was watching the track documentary, Sprinters documentary on Netflix, and just think about the confidence it takes to go in front of them stadiums. Like think about these ain't superhumans. They ain't gods. Of course they. I mean think about the mindset it takes to walk in front of these in front of the world. You know what I'm saying? The confidence it takes, the fear, like capture all them feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what being great looks like on any level.